quote up that she put. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely interesting. I
It
am
caught my attention.
gonna let this go through there now. We are actually live, so see if I can get some things shared real quick and get some folks in here so we can talk about this. Yeah, and I do like how easy this software is to use now.
It was super easy.
You don't have to come into town to do this stuff. We can do it like this, and whoever else wants to pop in here, I got room enough for everybody else. For a ton of other people, they just want in.
There you go.
See who all wants to be a part of this, and maybe nobody. Right? Maybe nobody likes us, which that shouldn't surprise me too much.
Right. Because why would they?
All right, get this put out there. Jeez. Yeah, this is I want to say I'm surprised, but I don't know if I am or not about it.
I think the timing is weird. A little bit.
All right. All right, that one. That's going on my feed. All right, just make sure I got this out. See if we can get some folks on here who may want to hear the wise and meaningful words that we're about to have to that we say, which I think is pretty good. Oh yeah, don't walk naked by the door, babe. I should have warned you about that.
Video will be taken down immediately.
Maybe we'll strike this video completely down.
Are you on Facebook Live?
That is correct. I'm on Facebook Live. So what?
Why didn't it notify me?
Why didn't it notify you?
Yeah, normally it'll tell me if somebody's on live.
It is a great question of which I know not the answer to. We're saying there's a lot of people live right now talking about all kinds of stuff, which I'm all for. I'm all for. I think it's going to be a big talking point. Honestly, this whole thing, because what does that mean? You already saw things with fans talking about it.
Right.
Everybody, I think everybody's expecting that it goes back to bad things. But I think the real news. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get into it. I'm just being sure I get this shared. Have you shared it to Bottom Card Booking page?
I'm doing it on my phone, so I'm not. I don't know if I can go into it and do it or not.
That's what I'm trying to do as well, and make sure I can get it in here. And we'll see. Just because we want to make sure that we get on all the platforms.
Right.
We'll see if I can get it over there. Get some folks in here and I'll do some talking. All right, we are going to share it to Big Daddy Storms page. Alan, you don't have a Alan 2-count Lentz referee of the Millennium page or nothing?
Nope.
Man, dude.
I just keep it my personal page, brother.
Yep. I do the same thing, and I know I shouldn't. I know that I should definitely have a separate page for that, but I've already posted so much of my stuff that's already on my personal page.
Right.
Especially because I had pretty much, before all this, given up, so I didn't worry about it. Now it's kind of hard for me to switch it back.
Yeah, that's why I just kind of leave everything on my personal page, because I already share everything there anyway.
Yeah. No, that's how it should be. So, all right, I think that's it. I think I got it pretty much shared to every conceivable thing that I have. That should be it anyway. Yes, I know. Keep notifying me. It's great. So yeah, so we got that news. Stephanie McMahon-Helmsley resigns from the board. Well, she's resigning as COO, I believe, is what
Yep.
we're talking about here.
Co-CEO, co-COO.
CEO is what she was, Chief Content Officer.
Yeah.
Well, that's Triple H is the Chief Content Officer. But yeah, it kind of happened just suddenly out of nowhere this evening.
Yeah, it was right before 6 o'clock our time, I think. And I saw the news, and I kind of read it because I looked at it and I said, is this a real thing right now, or is this just something that somebody, made up and fabricated to look, real, like a real thing? Because that's something that happens nowadays quite often. And but no, that it appears that the news is true, and Stephanie has officially resigned. And last year she had taken, before the news of Vince's allegations and all that stuff went down, she had taken a leave of absence already.
Yeah,
And then once that stuff happened,
but she'd only been gone a few weeks, and they called her back.
right? Yeah, she.
Vince.
Mm-hmm.
They needed her back just because Stephanie has such a strong presence within the company, and I think just across the world anyway. People don't look at Stephanie McMahon and go, "Oh, it's trouble," and there's all kinds of baggage that comes with Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she is one of those personalities you can pretty much trust. Now, of course, different actual wrestling people within the wrestling business might have a different viewpoint of Stephanie McMahon, but as a boss and as somebody as an executive, I don't think you can argue with her success at all.
Right, and she, what was the first? I don't know if it would have been the first kind of big thing that she kind of headed over, or that she was head over. Was it Connor's Cure that uh she kind of started? Was that the first big thing that she kind of started a couple years ago within the company? Because I know Stephanie was very influential in the uh like reaching out towards the female audience, and the whole marketing deal, and stuff like that. um but I mean, her influence on the company, on WWE, outside of wrestling, uh has been very influential and beneficial for the company.
Yeah.
So she, we talked about it last night on the show, I think, um of how WWE is more than just the wrestling and what we see on TV on a weekly basis. Like, there's so much more things that go into WWE behind closed doors, and in the office up in Stanford. And so, this could be. I don't. I don't think it's going to drop the market,
No.
the Wall Street for WWE or their stocks or anything like that. But um, it may dwindle in their uh, success as far as like certain things that she was heading up, from a business side. But I guess time will tell. But the timing of it was all kind of strange.
Well, and here's I think one of the big differences is the fact that before it was just a leave. She continued with her leave and officially resigned from the company, so she no longer has a position within this company. All right, so this is not a temporary move. This is a move out of the company into a different aspect of life now.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I think, was under the assumption that, well, this will be her lifelong thing with the company, and and it's so you wonder, especially with the one sentence I read in there, it said, when she put out in her statement, our founder Vince McMahon has returned as executive chair and is leading, and I think this is a crucial point, is leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors have been that Vince is trying to sell the WWE. I wouldn't be surprised by that if that actually turned out to be the case. And I think she might figure, well, if that's going to be the case, I might as well just get going. I've got daughters. I like to watch the rest of their childhood, what they have left of it, and see them grow up and help them. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is I think for Stephanie, growing up in the business, I think this is probably going to be one of those moves where she's like, you know what? I've done this my whole life. I don't have to work another day in my life. I
Mm-hmm.
can do whatever, and I'm in a position to where I can enjoy time with my kids, which is what she didn't have, other than being in the business, right?
Right.
And not to say that's a wrong thing, but she might be one of those people that's just decided, yeah, I just want a little something different.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised as soon as all this happens, you could see Triple H doing the same thing.
Boy, that would be that was going to be my follow up question to you was going to be like with because I mean it's common knowledge that Triple H and Stephanie are married and have been for the past what 20 something years.
Yeah.
And so like that's real life. You're in this family business, like you said. Stephanie grew up in the business. She's been around it her whole life. Um, and then Triple H comes in, and WWE's been his life for the past what, maybe 30, 30
Oh
years, something
yeah.
like that, maybe.
Easily.
And
Easily.
so that's you think about it from Stephanie's point of view, like that's been literally her whole life, and for Triple H, it's been his whole adult life, and
Yeah.
so with Vince coming back and the talk of the sale happening, what happens with that? Does Vince come back in as the executive chairman again and decide, uh, everything's going back to the way it was? Triple H is out at creative once again, and I'm taking back over the helm. And then Triple H is like, you know what? I've made my money, like you said about Stephanie. Like
Yeah.
we're set. Me and Stephanie are set. Our kids are set. Like we haven't had as much time to be parents as what we would like to be, and so now it's time to do that, and then just gone. You know, like that could be a real thing that happens.
And it could be, and who knows what, because a lot, different things go on in people's personal lives to affect choices they make and decisions that they want for the rest of their lives. And people can assume all they want to, especially wrestling fans are notorious for this. And it's not just wrestling fans, but it's fans of any sport or celebrity or IP or whatever the case may be, that this is just needs to go on forever and these people are perfect for this. And then if they don't do it, will it ever be the same? And they can't see them doing anything else. And these people are just like them, right? They're their own people. They have their own dreams and goals, and those things shift over time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Triple H loves this business, and there's no question that he does, because you don't stick around it this long and sacrifice all the things that he has to do this business and to put all that time in, because these guys are working 20 hours a day.
Right.
And that's just not something you do just for fun. I mean, that's dedication and passion.
Especially after his issues, his health issues that he had. You know,
Exactly.
late was it late 21?
Yeah.
It was late 2021 whenever it came up.
Yeah.
Um,
Vince put out a statement.
what he say?
He said, "First, I'd like to express my full support for Stephanie's personal decision. I'll forever be grateful that she offered to step in during my absence, and I'm truly proud of the job she did co-leading WWE. Stephanie has always been the ultimate ambassador for our company, and her decades of contributions we have left an immeasurable impact on our brand." Nick Khan says Stephanie McMahon is a terrific executive and an even better person. It has been an honor to serve as co-CEO with her. She will only continue to succeed. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So it is official. What happens here after this is what's really going to be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
because I think again, I think this is where it's WWE is Vince. He solely come back to sell WWE and to offload it. Is that a true thing that's happening? Or is it just more rumors that's going around because Vince came back?
Right. And what was that line that you read from Stephanie's statement? Um, talking about what she said. These are um, exciting times for.
Well, she said Vince is leading. He's returned to his executive chair position as leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives.
So see that
Which sounds like selling it to me.
it
That's what
does.
sounds
It
like.
does because what other exciting alternatives or what could you what else could you be looking at? I mean, unless as far as the TV rights deal, uh, what is the bigger network or bigger channel that they could go on besides the ones that they're on? I don't think
Yeah.
that has anything to do with that um with that statement. So you have to go back to the sale of WWE.
Yes. I
But
think
it
so
just
too.
who buys it? Like who are the head contenders for to purchase WWE? Because we could be looking at in July or August, because I think the time frame they were given was like 3 to 6 months, and that's the time frame that I've been hearing around was 3 to 6 months. We could be looking at a sale of the WWE. Um, so we could be looking in July and August, a brand new WWE, and I don't think that means a completely brand new WWE. That's I think that's just for business, side of things, not necessarily the wrestling, right?
Well, yeah. And I think that's probably exactly it. I think there's money to be made. Vince is not getting any younger, and we all know this. There's nowhere left for him to go, nothing else left for him to do. I mean, does he pick this time and just enjoy his life? And what is he gonna do after this?
We see whenever the last couple months that he's been gone, we've seen. I mean, it's. I think it's evident he was just trying to. The entire time he was gone, he was just trying to figure out how to get back in to what he started. To this business that he started, and
Oh,
this
no doubt.
uh, this what's the word, conglomerate? What's the word? You know what I'm talking about? The big word that us Strayhorn folks can't say. But this just gigantic company that started out so small, and now Vince is over 40 years has taken it and just grew it to a global phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
And what else did he? It that dude, all he wants to do is work. What are his hobbies? What are Vince McMahon's hobbies?
I think working was it. And that could have been the case. I mean, maybe that's what he was doing on this time off he had, a way of trying to clear his name, and as much as you can clear Vince McMahon's name of anything. Was he trying to say, like, you know what? I don't know how much time I got left to walk a foot. Do I still want to keep doing this, or what else do I want to do? Did I find something else exciting in the meantime while I was out? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I get it. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, there's been talks, right, already about the TV rights deal and the potential sale or whatever. In between, like leading up to this moment, right?
Yeah.
But so, do you think that the allegations that are still out there against Vince, and there's still new ones every now and again that will come up, that have come up over the past couple months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that those allegations or any potential future allegations that may come out, because who knows, with the way that things are nowadays, um, do you think that could hinder, and his presence just being back there alone could hinder this potential sale of WWE?
I don't, because look, Vince McMahon is as close to bulletproof as you can get.
Obviously. I mean, he
He's,
lived through getting blown up in a limousine. Come on.
I mean, he's gone through. He's faced the federal government several times.
Yeah.
They've tried to bury him with these things, and Vince McMahon, with his personality, it don't matter what you find on him. It's just not going to matter. It's Vince McMahon. You almost expect it.
It's
So
so
it's like,
wild.
yeah. So it's not like anybody else where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh yeah, that's Vince. Sounds right. And you kind of brush it off after a moment. Whereas for a lot of regular people, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Can you believe it? With Vince, you're like, oh yeah, okay. That's old Vince. There you go. And you're just going about your business. It's a damn thing. But I think that's what we look at there. So no, and people who are going to want to buy it and want to see it. I mean, look how much money NBC's already paying for the rights to broadcast WWE now. It would not surprise me if they just buy the company outright.
And I mean, the stuff's already on Peacock, and
It
Peacock is owned by NBC Universal.
Now I'm sure
that's their whole thing.
I wonder how much is left in their Saudi Arabia deal.
Oh yeah, like how many years? How many more shows?
What's going on with that, and then having to figure out the logistics of all of that. But look, nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, I saw that and I was like, huh, okay, all right, yeah, all right. Well, this is going to be interesting. I think what we'll see as far as fans go is what happens if Vince just goes back to calling all the shots on the shows. If he steps into that role again, then you're going to see some really up in arms. Because right now, especially with this news coming out, or even when he was coming back, he was already making the rounds. He's about to come back in. It's going to mess everything up. So you got those paranoid fans who are already on the edge of their seat waiting for it. They're waiting for that other shoe to drop. And then Vince McMahon's back in charge of everything. And I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. The product's going to suck again and all these things. And I think that's what a lot of people are waiting on. But, I would be surprised if that happens, honestly. And the only reason I say that is because things are going so well. They've got that relationship kind of back with their fans right now. Because their fans, for the most part, are happy in the direction things are going. And I just don't think you want to. I think if Vince truly is wanting to sell the company, he stays away from the creative side of it.
You think so? And he just sticks to that.
Yeah, because right now the stock value is up in it, right? So the value of the company is up because of the fans, what's going on, and what Triple H and Stephanie and Nick kind of done over there.
Yeah.
So right now, that relationship is good, so the value's up, and I don't think they want to. If you're trying to sell it,
right,
then you don't want to take a chance on ruining that.
Yeah, it would be like you said, it would be the damnedest thing. Like with Vince, like you almost expect the unexpected with Vince because it's always something. Like he's always going to come out of the hole that he digs himself in. And I'm with you. If I think that if he does, if it comes out that he's taking back over creative and everything like that, like I feel like there will be a revolt from the fans, and probably the general and Eric and just completely. But I think the best thing for them, which our opinion doesn't matter, right? Nobody's listening. Nobody from up there is listening to us.
No,
but we're just throwing our own opinions out there and broadcasting them out to the metaverse.
No, and that's very, very true.
But
it's just very, very true.
I feel like if Vince stays out of Triple H's way, which is probably hard for him, you would imagine that this is eating him alive because he wants to be there, in Gorilla, calling the shots and
no doubt,
all that. And so, I mean, yeah, how do you think the family gatherings went over the holidays? How do you think they went?
I think they went. Nobody was saying much of anything because what? I mean, who knows? I mean, because here's the thing: we just simple Southern folk down here.
That's it.
So we have our own version of the holidays and family gatherings and what goes on. But who knows how them people live
Right.
and how they do their stuff and what kind of insanity goes on with some of that. I have no idea. I mean, there's no telling. I mean, do they go to Linda's house? She have the house now? I mean, what's all that about? And look, because she knows, she's always known. Vince has been out there getting him a little bit on the side nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
She knows. There's no question that happens. And
I mean,
nobody
look
can
at the
say
storylines he was doing in the early 2000s with Trish Stratus and
that was
Sable.
just putting it in everybody's face. Like, the reason I'm doing this, not saying he was messing around with those women in particular,
Right.
but just saying I'm just man, I can still do anything I want to do.
Exactly.
And behind the stage, you just don't know.
Same thing. Same thing on camera as he is behind camera.
Yeah, I mean, the people who live the way they live, I mean, there's just
We'll never know.
I don't know.
We'll never understand how to live that way.
Vince dips his toe in all the pools. It's kind of how that goes. Yeah. It's sad. Got something for you. Watch this. Hold on a second. Let's see if it does it right on or not on here.
Oh, look at that.
It does.
Golly. Man, dude, just Storm gets booked last night on Bottom Card
on the show
while Buster Kennedy is on air with us. He gets booked, and then this poster gets released last night with guess who in the center of it?
This guy.
Storm.
This guy.
Man. Golly. Well, it's been 3 years in the making trying to get you to go out to APW, and I guess all it took was to hear, "Hey, Storm, you're booked."
Well, and that's really it, honestly, because I don't like to bite myself places and all that. And my problem with going to other shows is real simple. When I get there, I want to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to tell myself, because I used to do this. I'd go with the intention of just going to support guys. If I was off that night, wasn't doing anything, I'd go to the shows. But then I'd be itching so bad. I'm like, man, I could be in there. I'd start looking at it like, I do it this way, or I want to do this. And oh, that'd be fun. Here I am sitting here in a chair. It's hard for me to do that.
Right.
So it's like, before I you can come out whenever you want to and watch, and just come visit. It's different when you're booked.
Yeah.
And when they tell you that you're actually booked, because then you feel like, okay, I don't feel like I'm intruding at this point. I feel like, okay, I'm good. I'm good to be here. And I'm good to be me. So that's usually how I feel about it. So it's hard for me just to go. Now we were legitimately going to APW, the West Memphis show the other night after the taping. But
you just beat too many people up.
Dude, let me tell you. After everything that went on Saturday, I was so exhausted from whooping candy ass, from just beating the hell out of folks. I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, one being.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I just. People are like, well, it's not that difficult beating people up. I'm like, yeah, it is.
It is when it was for as long as what y'all were doing it.
when you're getting beaten up, all you gotta do is cover up and lay there and pretend you're asleep, and hopefully they'll leave you alone, right?
Yeah.
Just pass out. When you're
There's
doing
been a couple times where I have went to sleep.
I know it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So y'all got it easy. You got an early nap in. When you're one giving the beating, you're constantly just whooping on folks, and that's exhausting. That's exhausting,
man.
And
you're a top worker. Well, you and the what are you, royalty? Said it.
That's right.
Yeah, y'all are the top workers.
You put yourself in a situation, buddy. That's what we do. Put ourselves in situations. I think you have to, though. I think you gotta put yourself in some situations and stuff to keep doing this thing. And Bluff City's gained some traction, buddy.
It is.
But
Sure is.
and I think not only is Bluff City gaining some traction, we kind of mentioned this as APW is, but they've been growing so well anyway. It's just nice to go and be a part of that one because
Hmm.
I've wanted to for so long. But like I said, I wouldn't invite myself.
Right.
So once you get the official word, it's like okay, because when you respect somebody and what they're building, again, I'm not one of these people who likes to intrude on guys I have a lot of respect for and what they're trying to do with their stuff. And I'm like, hey, if there is not a spot for me there, I'm cool with that too. I
Right.
trust in what you're doing, right? So no hard feelings there at all. So, but it is nice and to be able to be invited and to go over there and check it out and all that. So I can't wait. February 4th.
February 4th in Helena. Yep.
I love the
Helltown
fact that
beat
it's called Helltown Beatdown.
Yeah. It was made for you.
It was.
This show
This sounds
was made for
appropriate.
you.
It sounds appropriate. I'm looking forward to it.
And it's not Helena. It's not going to be a difficult drive to get to it either. So,
No, it'll be easy.
fans, you definitely want to come out to Helena on February 4th. Real easy. Just go across the bridge at Lula.
Yeah.
Right. Pass by Isla Capri Casino.
Just go
Across the bridge. Hey, guess what? You're in
right
Helena.
there. You're right there.
That's it.
Dude, our booking sheet is filling up.
Yeah. I was looking at mine the other day, and I was like, man, it's just multiple shows on this day because of TV tapings and then somewhere else. And then,
Which is kind of cool too, because you can at least when you're doing that go, okay, well, I'm doing a TV taping now. I can't take these other bookings, but your TV tapings are early, so you can still do it.
Yeah,
and take other bookings like that. So yeah, I'm excited for 2023. It ought to be a lot of fun.
yeah, it should be fun, should be busy. And like we were talking about last night, there's a lot of stuff that we're talking about doing this year. From the show standpoint.
Well, and expanding this show in itself,
right? Exactly.
Hopefully we'll get to do a lot of. So, especially now that we can do things like this with news breaks,
right?
We can get in here and really talk to everyone about it, and like I said, get other people's opinions on what's going on and what they feel. I mean, if you guys are watching, you want to chime in, please do it. Poor Storm is a victim. Come on, dude, complaining about beating folks up. No, I'm not complaining, Jay Griffin, about beating folks up. I'm complaining about how tired you get by whooping that ass and can't nobody stop you. And so the only person that can stop you is yourself. 2 hours of just whooping people, that's exhausting. So y'all don't know anything because all y'all whooping up on is bucket of ice cream, right? Maybe some ho-hos and ding-dongs, 42-gallon jug of Coca-Cola or something like that. No, I'm whooping up on human beings. That's what it is.
And he did.
Tiring.
I can attest to
exhausting.
it.
You can attest to it. You can attest to it.
Isn't that did you write a song about that guy?
Who, Jay?
Yeah. Did you write a song about him? Was that the one you?
Oh, that was my that was the one I did. I was on OWO chat.
That's it.
Yeah. Dude, so it's funny you actually mentioned that, the song thing, because somebody asked me when I did the song the other night. The little Rawhide. That's right, Jay. That's right. That's correct. So the little piss ant song, right? And I did that, and it's like, dude, just how? And it's true because it goes back to my youth when I was a huge fan of Weird Al Yankovic and these guys who did the parodies and stuff. I don't know why, but it was always so cool to me that they did it. And so when I started doing it in wrestling, I was like, man, it became a popular thing when I was doing it. I would have guys just dare me to write songs about them.
Yeah.
And I had a whole bunch of them at one time, but but the only problem with it is it becomes it can get to where it becomes a thing. And as much fun as it is, and I will cut promos doing this stuff, and because it's just part of who I am. I was going to say it's part of my character, and that's true, but I don't mean character as in the Storm character. It's just part of my personality. I enjoy doing it. But at some point, though, like right now, this is probably the most serious I've ever been about this business, as far as taking everything I do seriously, because I know time is limited. as you get on this side of it, you know, and like you got a lot of young guys in here now, they're still coming up in their career. I think a lot of them take it for granted that it's just going to always be there. And one day your body's not going to be able to do it. I work hard so I can still do it. But even doing that, I know that it's, you know, the next few years, that's going to be it. So you got to take it super seriously. And I just don't want it to get to where it's comical this and comical that, because I think you can always create your own legacy, and you're always adding to it. And it becomes a thing, and I don't mind, because, like I said, we talked kind of about this earlier before, and yeah, Jay's right. I mean, Father Time is definitely undefeated. He don't lose. You know, he just don't lose.
Well, he's got a big battle coming up at some point in time with Vince McMahon, but we don't know when that'll be. But
even Benny Mac, that will be the one he loses. That'll be the one he loses right there. But yeah, dude, it's so much fun though, and I do have a good time. But we were talking about, I was joking around with you about creating you a fan page and all that stuff, and
yeah,
you know, and a lot of guys create those separate fan pages, but who I am is not too far removed from, you know, Storm and Chad. They're kind of the same person.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of that is. Storm's more extreme.
He's taking it up a notch.
A whole bunch of notches
to the next
sometimes,
level.
but they're not far removed.
Right.
And I've had them together for so long, it's hard for me to go, well, I want to do this one, and this is Storm. That's who I am. You know this.
Oh yeah.
It's just who I am.
Oh
you
yeah.
And people can either accept it or they can't.
Right.
Because I'm still gonna sleep just as well at night.
You ain't gonna have a care in the world.
I don't, dude. I don't. I mean, it's just what that is, and I think everybody should be that way.
Yeah.
You should be happy to be who you are, regardless. Regardless, if you are not satisfied with yourself, then you got two choices: either deal with it, or just keep crying about it. Because it's the only two options you have.
Yep.
You control who you are, and dude, I am that way. I've already got an idea for my next song too, by the way.
You brought up OWO, and it made me. It brought me, reminded me of a memory, of what was supposed to be a big night for Brian Sofine at OWO a couple months ago, and you wrote a Hall of Fame song for him then.
I did.
So I'm wondering if since Barry Wolf just ruined that whole night for Brian Sofine and the Pink Flamingos, are you, when it comes around and Brian does actually get into the OWO Hall of Fame, are you going to write a new song for him? And also, when your day comes and they ask you to be inducted into the OWO Hall of Fame, are you going to write a song for yourself and have Brian perform it for you? Or is Curly Moe going to perform it for you? Or is Stud going to perform it for you? Who's gonna take over for you whenever you get your big one?
I think if I didn't do it myself, it would be a tragedy.
You're right.
The only reason I say that, because I know what it means to me to be able to have the words flow out of you in song, and I think that I could. I think it would be a unique perspective on the whole thing. But the problem with the OWO in the Hall of Fame is it's a bunch of trash. They put anybody in that stupid thing.
It's a
Curly Moe. Curly Moe, all 2 foot nothing. That little Keebler is in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, did you see you got a new girlfriend though?
I saw
did
that.
You see that?
That's pretty funny.
Dude, we won't talk about it.
But there's guys like that. All these dudes are just letting in the Hall of Fame and stuff. I'm like, man, you ain't done nothing. You ain't done nothing to be in the Hall of Fame. I impacted. The reason OWO is even around is the trail that I blazed through Tupelo way back in the mid and late 90s.
I was about to say, careful. 2000s. Careful. Dude, don't age yourself too much.
Dude, I am not ashamed of my age. I'm an ass whooping machine. I don't even care. Because I can tell you facts are just facts. And when I put it to Dirty, see, he hates it too. Dirty hates me, is what it is. And a lot of those guys do. There's a lot of jealousy going on. I get it. I get lots of jealousy going on. And they should be jealous. I understand why they are. I do. If I was them, I'd be jealous of me too. You know, it's what it is. Mo does not have a killer finisher. What Mo has is ripping off Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the only reason that's the finisher because that's the only part he can grab you with, right? He really can't do anything else.
He's got to kick you in the gut so you'll bend down so he can reach you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No. Drives me crazy. And that dude, I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of these guys, and they're all tarnishing the name and reputation that I built in that area. And so it's time. I have a lot of wrongs to right over in that area.
February 24th, it starts all over.
February 24th is gonna be a lot of fun.
You can begin your path of destruction on OWO for the year 2023 on February 24th at South Pontotoc High School.
Yeah. Well, here's what I love about it too. This is what's great about that is those are school shows, so I can reach these young people and shape their minds in a positive way. Right? When they see me walk out there, they know, oh damn.
They're kids. They're not saying that.
Dad, go tell mama to go to sleep because Big Daddy's out here and she don't need to see this man or y'all probably get divorced right now. Don't let mama come out to the show, Daddy. It's coming.
Because it'll be 2 shows that day.
And there will be 2. So that's the school afternoon school show. And then it's that night.
Yeah.
You ever cross paths with Pure Destruction back in the day? That's how me and Brody know each other. That's why we're partners. I mean, I've been to war with them and against them for 20 plus years. Brody and Cody. I mean, nothing but respect for those guys. People don't understand because really social media wasn't a big thing back then like it is now, of course. I mean, you're just talking about the infancy days of really the internet's folding out and, you know, you got the internet looks nothing like it does now where everything's easy to access. You can't have all this cool stuff that we do to be able to sit here and even talk back and forth like we are. So back in the day, boy, there was Pure Destruction. It was always a fight, and it was always, but you knew. And you develop a lot of respect for one another running up and down the roads. Like I said, we've been partners, we've been enemies, we fought together and against each other and truly become brothers. And then when Brody reached out to me about this, because I'm doing the Savage Brotherhood thing and Brody's partner just couldn't do it anymore, not up here and stuff. And Cody was not able to. He called me. He said, would you be interested? I'm like, oh, yeah, all day long. For you, absolutely. Because we fight a similar style. We're both big. We're both brawlers. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of the same mentality when it comes to how we execute things in the ring and how we see things unfolding in the ring. There's nothing you can surprise us with. And we had talked about this years before, and we're going to tag team. But a lot of people didn't want us to tag team for obvious reasons. Because how do you stop guys like us, right?
Because that they knew it's legitimately Pure Destruction and no knock on on Brody and Cody, the work that they did.
But it's and they and as big as I am, Cody's even bigger.
Dude, right? Cody's massive.
Right. I've got a photo in my bedroom. I've had it for years. I've had it on my work desk and everything of me giving him a rock bottom. And this picture's 25 years old, probably 24 years old. But we go back a long ways. It was one of my good friends. Like I said, we rode up and down the roads together. It was a lot of fun. And I do consider those guys brothers. I mean, whatever they need, I'm always there. We got to talk. I mean, so it wasn't that we never just all of a sudden me and Brody just came back together and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how this works. I mean, we were fighting each other just months ago. Him and his partner coming into Redeemed as we winded down Redeemed. And, because me and Brody know this. We're not afraid to go in there and mix it up. Whether it's against any team that you want to set in front of us, or it's us fighting against each other. We know we're not afraid to go. Let's go do this. Because if you're in this business, then you have to have that mentality. You can't be afraid.
Yeah.
And you got to go. Like I said, I love that dude because we have the same mentality. That's when we talk about how great we are as a team. It's not just to throw words out there, right? Just to go say things and go, "Oh, we're great, we're awesome, and nobody's better than us." And it's because truly, when we go in there, we don't plan anything. We go in there and we feel it and we whoop that ass. And that's just how we do it.
Well, that's what y'all
We
plan.
see the opening and we
That's what
take
y'all
it.
plan. That's all y'all plan to do
Yeah.
is go in there and just cause pure chaos.
Yeah. We know that when we get in there, we're not going to quit. And we know that, like when I was injured and Brody had to be in that ring the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
you ref that match.
Yep.
The entire time. That's tough. And against a team like the Top Shotters, who are constant, who they're really good. They're a young team and they're really good. I take nothing away from those guys. They are really good. And for Brody to be in there that whole time like that, he had to take that for the team. Just because of it's a new spot for us and we're establishing ourselves at Bluff City, and not just Bluff City, but in Memphis in general, in this whole area, the tri-state area. We're saying, hey, these guys right here are the truth.
Yeah.
These guys, when you hire them, when they come in here, they are difference makers. You can't overlook them. You can't just keep them down. You can try, but when you're talented and you have a certain presence, you can't escape that. The audience knows. You've seen the audience react to us.
Mm-hmm.
Audiences that don't know us, you've seen them react to us. You
Yep.
can't escape it, and it's a wild, weird thing to experience and do. But and I wish more wrestlers could do it. But again, it's on the wrestler, right? To go in there and create that and feel it and believe it.
Exactly.
The difference between me and Brody is we just believe it.
Exactly.
We just instinctively we know it. Jay said, don't realize how big Cody is till you walk right up on him, monster. Yes. every bit of that is so true.
Man, I remember when I first saw Cody, like when him and Brody came out to Redeemed, and I hadn't started reffing yet, but I was helping with the ring and set up, and that night I think I was they had gotten a spotlight to shine on the boys as they came out the curtain, and so I got placed to do that. And so I'm standing over there on the far side of the building, away from the entrance, with the light pointed at it. Brody and Cody come out, and I hadn't been in the locker room. Right, I didn't go into the locker room before then, and so they come out of the curtain, and both of them, as soon as that light hits them, both of them just give me a glare, like they're about to stop making their way to the ring, and they're gonna come over and beat me up. And I was scared.
I'll tell you,
I was scared for my life.
It's very intimidating.
Because good Lord, man, Cody's a big dude.
Mm-hmm. He's 6'5", and he's massive. And
he's 6'5".
Mm-hmm, every
That's
bit of
it.
it. Yeah. Well, and then you got bigger. He's that's a flat-footed. He's a natural 6'5". It's not 6'4.5", and let's just say 6'5". He is a natural 6'5".
It's a shoot, pal.
Dude, I don't have to look up to a lot of folks. And it's not only that he's tall, though. He is big.
Yeah.
He's just a big dude.
He's stocky.
Yeah, tall people don't bother me. Looking up at somebody does not bother me. But a big, massive, tall dude, give you pause a little bit. Where you're like, I didn't bring enough lunch for this one. I don't. This might be a little more than I bargained for. Right now, but he's also one of those guys. Like if he somehow got healthy and was able to come back in, he is one of the very few people I would just step aside and go, there you go, Brody, there's your partner back.
Yeah,
I'll find me something else to do. And that's just because I love the guy and how much respect I have for him. So, yeah, they're, boy, PD is something.
Man.
Your destruction was the truth. I mean, the war that them in the asylum used to have with Wraith and Psycho, oh my God. And then Pappy and Psycho.
Yeah.
When Wraith retired and quit. I mean, so it was, yeah.
Man, You
There
talking
were
about
wars,
brutal
buddy.
back in the day, man?
No, it was
Like,
tough.
because those are all five of those guys.
Yeah.
Psycho, Pappy, Wraith, Brody, and Cody. Like those guys are legitimately tough.
Yes, they are.
And so I mean, just the matches that they would have, just brutal.
You come out of those matches and it's like, holy jeez, man. Why are we doing this again?
Yeah, yeah.
What is the
Was
point of
that
this?
was the hot dog worth it?
Oh, they would just beat. I mean, I only had a little taste of what they did. They truly, there was like a year and a half, 2 years there where all it was PD versus the Asylum, booked everywhere because you knew that match was money.
Yeah, there was a reason.
Yeah, and it was. It just was. I mean, those guys together were. It was. There was no question when these two teams faced off. It's like, okay, I wonder what's going to happen here. Like, oh crap, here we go.
Hmm.
Here we go. I just wish they would have had a stage. Like that should have been on TV.
Yeah,
Pure Destruction versus Asylum should have been on TV.
I would have got some eyes for
Oh,
sure.
it would have.
Definitely
I
would have
mean,
generated some eyes.
Memphis back then, well, if they could have been on TV, if those guys would have been on TV, who knows? I mean, Memphis could have that could have made a difference. Because I think here's the thing too with a lot of this stuff today is, and this is not calling anybody out. But there's so much politics, right? About well, I got to get this and I got to get that. That there's no. I love wrestling. It is the most insane, crazy sport, profession, whatever you want to call it. There is nothing like it. It defies, honestly, it defies a lot of um, labeling. You
Hmm.
just you don't know what to call it. And I know the sports entertainment thing rubs a lot of traditionalists the wrong way, and sometimes it does me too, honestly. But that does fit in there, and it is a great way of saying it. But I think also it still doesn't capture it all because the old school wrestling and how violent it is and how tough it is and what you have to do and what you have to sacrifice to do this thing. And I think when we let our egos get in the way of that, the product suffers. And
Hmm.
this is and again, and I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm not trying to say anything disrespectful to anyone, honestly. But like there's a reason I love Bluff City, and people can say what they want, but I know the people up there. I actually know them. I see them all the time. I interact with those people, and I know what they're trying to build and what we as a roster are trying. It's a great roster,
Yeah, it is.
and people keep getting worked in and out, which I think you have to have. But it's not the good old boys club.
Right.
All right. I've worked a vast majority of people already, and I'm so used to working just the same guys because it's real easy to get into a roster where it's just the same guys all the time.
Hmm.
And I have found how much I love working different human beings and testing myself because I'm a brawler. I know that I'm not some great ring technician. I will never be that. I know a lot of stuff, but that's not my style.
Right.
Like I can go in there and go hold for hold with you. It's not going to be the prettiest thing, but I can do the holds. I can transition in and out. I know a ton of counters and stuff, but it's not my style.
Right.
It's not what the fans want to see from me. It's just not. And it's not where I feel the most comfortable. I can lock you down. I know tons of shoot holds and hooks. I know how to hook you. But it's not my style.
Yeah.
People relate to me whether they love me or whether they hate me, whether they cheer me or boo me. They can still relate. Like I love him because of, or I hate him because of. Right? So
Yep.
they still get it. And I had somebody was asking me about this, and my advice was simple: your fans are everything. Whether they're there to cheer you or boo you, your fans are everything. So you have to give them a reason to cheer you or give them a reason to boo you.
Yep.
That is your job. And you should want to do that job better than anybody. It's
Yep.
not about the moves, it's about how you make them feel. So, whatever way you choose to go with that, good or bad, you've got to sell out for it.
Yeah.
You got to sell out for it and do it.
All on you.
It is. I mean, it really is. And so, I hope that at the end of the day, that's what we do. And that's what you got to find your style, and you got to find your deal, and you got to be able to go in there and take the stuff that doesn't give a person a reason to go, I see it, but no, it's not like I wanna. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it looks kind of. You should never give a fan a reason to be taken out of the match.
Yeah.
Fans know what this business is now,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate it, but you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So don't give them a reason to step away. Don't give your fans a reason to lose interest or to say, "Oh, ooh, that looked bad."
Yeah.
You can't. You
Yeah.
can't. You will never hear me blame fans for the status of wrestling because it's not the fans' fault for what we have done or have not done to this business. That strictly falls on the workers and promoters. Your fans will be loyal. Again, they'll cheer you and they'll boo you and they'll come visit your show. They will be loyal to you if you give them a reason to be loyal.
Yep.
And if you take that away from them, they will show you that too. Like you're the one who turned your back on me.
Yeah.
What is this product you're putting out? And they don't ask that you're the greatest in the world. That's the great thing too. Is fans don't ask that you're the greatest in the world. They just want the great effort from you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know that you're out there doing everything you can to be and put on this show for them because they're paying their money to come see you. That's their money they work for to come pay to see you perform in the ring. And you have to have that symbiotic relationship, right? It's that give and take between you both, and it has to be there. Jay said, I'll put this up on the screen. Just having wrestling from Memphis airing on TV on Saturday mornings is really throwing it back to the old school. Old timers like me really appreciate that. I'm all about Bluff City, and we appreciate it, Jay. I mean, we do. Even if me and you don't see eye to eye on how I do things, which is true. I think this is important, and you just, man, I just wish that all wrestlers would get out here and go, you know what? Once you understand that your fans are everything for you and for this business and who truly you're doing this for is the fans.
Yeah.
Because you were a fan at one point. And I'll always be a fan of it. I go back and watch old school and I love it because it's so much fun. Ray says the fans don't feel something, they ain't coming back. We talked about that last night and we did. And you want them to come back and you want them to be appreciated and feel appreciated and know that, hey, yeah, we're out here. We're doing this. We're going to show up for you.
For sure.
Every time we're showing up for you guys. Let's do this thing. And that's that whole brotherhood with the fans and the guys in the back. And again, that's why I love Bluff City because it is old school. And you've got 901 Wrestling up there, who 901 has their fan base. What Tommy Jackson, I think, has done over at 901 has been really good.
Yeah.
Because he's had that show going for quite a while. 901, they're pretty self-contained.
Yep. Been very stable.
Yep, they're very stable. And they stay within themselves. I mean, they
except for the pandemic, but that was with everybody.
And that's what I was going to say. They really survived that well.
Yeah.
Because they were affected by it for a long time because of where they were located and they wouldn't let them back in there. And a lot of things went on with that. But I think, kudos to those guys and what they've been able to do. And the same thing is with Memphis Championship Wrestling. Look, they're 2 years in, I think. Right?
Yeah.
And some people
they'll be coming up 2 years, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I think we talked about that last night too. But
yeah,
some people like it, some people don't.
Right.
And that's fine. But you can't say that they're not out there putting out the product and trying to do what their vision is.
Right.
And I've got friends that wrestle for both those other companies over there.
And I mean, here's the real thing of it too. Storm is if like you were saying, like people can say whatever they want and can have the opinions that they want, and I've got my own opinions, right?
Yeah, sure.
Related
you worked over there.
Related to Championship Wrestling for Memphis because I worked there.
That's right.
I was there at the beginning of it. But if it wasn't for Dustin Starr having a vision to bring Memphis wrestling back, on Saturday mornings, would Bluff City even be a thing?
Yeah, I mean, would Johnny have been inspired to start Bluff City as much as he did? I mean, and Johnny's old school, and again, this is why I think me and him get along so well. It's because we see things a lot of the same ways. But man, I think competition is good.
Yeah.
I think competition is great. I think it's what Raw missed forever, or WWE missed forever when WCW went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
There was no direct competition. AEW is still not direct competition, but I think they're still growing as a company. And who knows what that's going to turn into. But I think competition drives you.
Yeah.
And it does something for you. And so I don't want these other companies to go out of business.
Right.
I don't want to see companies fold because I think they all have their place. But I think there's a philosophical difference in how companies are run.
Yeah.
Bluff City is perfect for me because of how I view wrestling
Right.
and because of what I believe this business is and what it should be. Remember the old territory days, NWA, and then you had the Florida territories and the Northwest territories over in Portland. You had so many different territories, and everybody was vying, and there was competition everywhere because your talent would leave and come back, and your talent would get poached and all that. So you had different things, and without competition, man, you don't. It's not what it could be.
Right.
And I want it to be. I love the competition. I like having to go prove myself. Some of the young talent don't really understand that. And we kind of talked about this because you were already working at Bluff City.
Mm-hmm.
I had to earn my spot.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, it wasn't that I came up there and I was best friends with everybody. Johnny hadn't seen me in 20 plus years. He didn't remember me.
Right. When was it? It was like 2 or 3 shows after you had went up there where Johnny
Yeah.
was like, I do remember you.
I remember you now.
Yeah.
And so, that's the thing. Of course, we all change and stuff, but I wasn't I wasn't impressed when I was young.
Yeah.
I think you always are learning. So I like that. I like the fact that you have to go in and earn your keep because I think that makes you hungry.
Yeah.
To do it. I don't take it for granted that I've been in the business 25, 26 years now. You should put me here and I should do this. You have to earn it. Man, you have to earn it. And so I'm happy with my status in Bluff City. And my stock is still rising. Brody's stock is still rising. And look at what we're doing now. We're the premier group in Bluff City, royalty. Not because he just said, I'm going to stick these guys together, because he looks at the Savage Brotherhood and goes, yeah. Oh, yeah. Those dudes are serious.
Yeah.
Those dudes right here. Randy said, yeah, they're having their 100th show. Memphis Wrestling is. They're about to have their 100th show, yeah. Jigger says, Bullseye, WWE suffered greatly when WCW folded. Yeah, man, they did. They did. They suffered. I think it's a mistake because you rest on your laurels.
Yep.
Those creative juices don't get flowing. Then you try to start doing stupid things. And boy, when you don't care and things start happening and you're not able, because talent also, I think talent benefits from all that competition because it forces them to be better.
Right.
They can't just go out there and half-ass and, well, I can just do this and let me get my moves in and do this. And you have to go out there and truly put yourself out there to be better.
Yep. Competition fuels fire.
It does. It does. And I talk a lot of smack because, dude, you got to be willing. You got to be willing. I mean, aren't you? Because you think about it, your top stars are your best talkers.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yep.
You look at the top stars in wrestling, pretty much 99.9% of them are all great talkers to an extent. Hulk Hogan, that's all he had. But here's the thing, Hulk knew it, and Hulk will tell you that.
Yeah.
Probably the only truthful thing he says is the fact that I don't have these moves, but it's how I did them. John Cena, same way.
Yep.
Even though I think John Cena's a little more talented than most people, including myself, ever gave him credit for. You know, he might have his 5 moves of doom, but he's not afraid to go in there and do things and put people over and do what's necessary in there.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's a good talker, a great talker.
He is.
You gotta be able to get on that stick. When complacency sets in, might as well dig your grave, and that's so true. It's just true.
Never get complacent.
You know? Bob hates hearing me talk. I think Bob's the only one that hates hearing me talk.
No, I think Bob secretly loves it.
I think he does too. I think
just
he does too.
you know what I'm saying?
I should have invited Bob to the show tonight.
You should have.
I should have.
Josh have their own little podcast deal that they do.
Yeah.
You know, should have invited old Bob. I wonder what
Bob
he.
says some pretty hateful things to us. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to figure out if I thought it might be justified.
No,
But
Alan.
then
It's not.
as it was presented to me on the show last night, I'm a referee, so I'm supposed to be unbiased. So I don't have an opinion on that matter.
There you go.
So that's a fight between y'all and Bob and Josh.
It's not even a fight. It's not really.
Okay. Well then, word fight and it's word. That's a discussion.
They're at a severe handicap when it comes to that area.
Man, those are good guys, though. Man, be nice to them.
Look, Bob. Look, let me tell you about Bob and Josh. And if you haven't checked out their other shows, they have some good stuff. I love that they talk sports and all the things that they talk out there. And people, this is one of the criticisms I've heard from Bluff City because we are a new company. We are still working things out, and I get it. And some people are like, well, they don't know near the stuff. Hey, they get better every week too.
Mm-hmm.
They're still learning a lot of the lingo, a lot of the things that what they do have is passion for it.
Yeah.
Bob is passionate, is disdain for us.
That's
hey, I respect it. I respect it. I mean, I get it. Yeah. He hasn't backed off of it.
No.
So, and I respect that more than anything. He could have been like a lot of these other guys do and try to suck up to us. He doesn't do it.
Mm-mm.
So I will give him his props when it comes to that. He will. Bob will say what's on his mind when it comes to how we do things. He does not like our methods, but I get it. He's a pastor.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if he did. Liked what we did. But the real difference is that when we cheat, we're telling you we're going to do it. We don't hide it. I'm telling you as a referee, you know this. I mean, you've had this conversation. You just got to catch us doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Y'all just have to get worse at hiding it than what you are.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
You're pretty good at keeping it hidden.
Dude, I should by this point stage of the game.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Somebody got mad at me and said, "Dan, you're not supposed to tell people that you're going to cheat." I'm like, why?
I'm just being upfront and honest about it.
I'm showing you that I'm cheating. Stop me. Stop me. That's all you got to do. Stop me doing it.
I'm just going
to cheating.
Yeah, I wonder if we can. So the whole deal with the like a carrot, tying a carrot and hanging in front of somebody's head or whatever.
That's right.
I wonder if we can get a camera. If we can get me a camera somehow, like placed on the back of my head, and then like have a little screen come up in front so I can see or like a little mirror or something.
Yeah, I don't think you thought this
through. What's happening behind me.
Yeah, I don't think you thought this through. Now, how are you going to avoid the shake and all that other stuff? The camera's moving, and then try to watch it. You get seasick and motion sickness right there in the middle, trying to pay attention, and then just start vomiting everywhere.
It wouldn't be the first time.
That's what would happen.
Ring. Said it wouldn't be the first time someone's thrown up in the ring.
Oh God, no, it wouldn't. No, see that. Bob respects you guys. Don't start that conspiracy bullcrap. I didn't say it was a conspiracy.
Who said that?
I just don't. Jay did. Bob don't like us.
I think
Bob doesn't like what we do. Let me say that. But I think Bob really loves us, and he's a fan. Maybe in the closet, he loves my music. Even though he tries to say he doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I should sing him a gospel song.
Maybe you should. Give it a Kirk Franklin feel.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do it. I might do that for Bob.
That'd be great.
I may do it the next show. Serenade Bob to a special gospel song right there at the announcer's desk.
There you go.
That is the thought.
And the odds of him hearing this he may go back and look at and listen to it.
Bob will.
But so shoot, it won't be able to be a surprise. But
that doesn't have to be the surprise will be what the song is.
That's
the surprise.
Like I can't
knowing that I'm going to do a song is one thing. Knowing what that song is, that's the joy right there.
What Danny Be Good used to come out to? It was Kirk Franklin. Do you want
Do you want Revolution?
Yeah, you should do it to
Yeah.
that.
Dude, I sing soulful gospel.
Okay, so you got to
I
slow.
I sing, oh, Marvin is here. What's up, Marvin? I love Marvin.
Marvin Payne,
Oh, Marvin.
the man.
Yep. I think they were having a podcast earlier when we jumped on here to do this news right there. I believe it. Was that Marvin? Was that you guys or was that Bob and Josh? There were so many people that were going live. I don't know what they were all doing, but so I'm not real sure.
Mm.
I don't
Well,
know.
maybe people left theirs and came to ours.
Yeah. Yeah,
We need the views.
we definitely, yeah, so it was Marvin. Y'all just got done. Cool. I gotta come on their show. They talk sports too.
Yeah,
Dude, and there's so much sports. That beating last night from the national championship game, if you can even call it that.
that was ridiculous.
Pro Football Weekly. Yeah, I definitely need to, because we do our football shows on Mondays. I definitely want to do there, and because I love football. It's a great sport in the world. Football's awesome.
What was the final score of that? 63-7?
647-7, I think.
And Georgia was favored by 13, I think.
13 and a half.
13, 12 and a half.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah, 63-7 is a little bit bigger deficit than 13 and a half.
All right, we're gonna get Marvin on here.
Are we?
We are.
All right.
You feeling the froggy? You feeling up for this?
Sure, let's go.
Man, I love having people on here. I get Marvin on here. We'll be good to go with us and make sure that I'm on this, Marvin. I'm about to send you the link to the show, buddy.
Send them the link. Send the man
on there. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure all this out. Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what it's called, by the way, with Bob. I love that. So,
shoot, if I knew we were going to be on here this long, Storm, I would have went ahead and ate my supper.
Is it getting cold over there?
You're
the one messaged me about this. So we weren't going to do this, guys. And then Alan messages me and says, hey, look.
I was like, we've got the capability now.
We got the capability now to do this. Are we going to do it? Well, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting to do this because I could sit here and talk all night long, obviously. You guys would get bored with it, but it's fun to talk about all the stuff and to be able to do it because I do love interacting with people and talking about this, like taking questions in the comments are fun because you can only talk about so many things. And then when people are asking you questions and you start thinking about, oh, yeah, I like that. And again, let Bob come on here. I think Bob should come on here, honestly. Bob need to have a come to Jesus meeting right now.
Boy, I don't know.
Now, Bob.
I don't know if he wants to do that or not. I don't know if he knows who he'd be stepping up to.
I think he's got a pretty good indication now. I don't think he really knows yet, though. You think all the stuff that I say and talk.
Yeah.
You think people would be a little more.
His day will
hesitant.
come. His day will come.
It will.
Where he'll know. He'll know.
Yeah. Jay said, knowing what we know now, the true national championship was Ohio State and Georgia. That is true. Alan, did you follow
Ohio State, Georgia?
Yeah.
I had to get up and move for a minute.
Here we go. We're about to add Marvin to the stream. Let's get him in here. There he is.
Come on in.
It's the man, the myth, the legend.
What's going on, everybody out there? What's going on?
Well, how are you doing, man?
Oh man, I just got off doing our podcast. We first playoff weekend this weekend. So man, look,
it is.
We jumped on so much stuff. Look, I had a list here of the things we talked about, and luckily we got through all of it. So I said, man, let me jump on here with the fellas for a hot minute before I go back to doing what I do 24/7. It's setting up this doggone show for this Saturday. I'm having fun doing that one, gentlemen. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till y'all see it.
The one for this Saturday.
Hey,
I'm looking forward to it.
The one for this Saturday is it's gonna be something serious. All I know is that the group royalty ain't nothing to be played with. Played with, but people got to make sure they tune in.
Yes.
get look as we say tidbits and nuggets online, but you gotta tune in to CW30. And for the ones that don't CW30, we try to make sure it is uploaded on YouTube where you will not miss any action from Bluff City Wrestling.
Yeah, and be sure y'all are going to give this the YouTube channel, the Facebook page. You gotta go follow Bluff City.
Yep.
Because Marvin here, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you guys.
You got
something.
to.
And
you got to.
This is not giving anything. Well, it's going to give something away, and the fact that it's that Marvin here, and you're heart and soul of Bluff City, dude. What you do, all the time and effort you put into making us look so good out there, and the production that you put into it, and this has only been going on for about 3-4 months now, is what we're into. I think this will be episode 15 coming up.
Yeah, 15 coming up.
I think it's yeah. So I mean it's phenomenal what's happening here. And to be honest, dude, you just do an outstanding job.
Yep.
When you're here, I appreciate it. I know the rest of the boys in the back appreciates it. The whole crew is great. I have made more friends just from the last few months of being in Bluff City because I didn't know Marvin before this, and Princess too. It's been fun, and not only has it been fun, it's been an adventure because the show that he's talking about that he's putting together, and I'm assuming it's the first taping we did this past weekend, right?
That is correct.
Shoo.
Oh boy,
Gonna be some fireworks, Marvin. I bet you are having fun with that one, getting it ready to go.
Man, look, do you know what? The only thing that I got, and it's just because the nature of editing, it's just that the network requires to have caption.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much the hardest part. That requires to have closed caption. Other than that, like we just filmed this Saturday. What's today? Tuesday?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm pretty much done with it. But the only problem is I have to go back. I have to go back and do closed caption, and that's really what kind of hangs the hammer on the head. And for some of the people that don't understand what we do and what is called post-production, we have to literally go in and listen to what everybody says and try to interpret what they says, make sure name spelling and everything correct. Because if y'all notice, Buck Skinner, before he told me, we were spelling his name wrong. Mm-hmm. And if you notice, if you notice, like towards the end of last year going into this year, when you see his name in the closed caption, it's spelled correctly.
Well, exactly. And I don't think people really understand what all goes into, like you said, post-production. Post-productions can be difficult because you've got 2-3 different cameras, right, that you're pulling footage from. That all has to be synced, correct?
Well, yes, that has to be synced. And pretty much like this week, I think I had we might have had 4 cameras this week.
Oh, you did? Because you had 3 camera guys around the ring.
I had 3 camera guys. We had 2 hard cams. So it was like, man, we were pulling footage from everywhere. And the thing about it is I have to sit up there, get everything lined up. Once I get it lined up, I literally have to watch each segment probably at least 30 times.
I imagine so, because
I'm talking about. If you notice on some of the episodes where I know I done slipped up working late night, you'll see like a little small screen. Like, why is it so small? That's because when I'm editing, I have to pull all 5 screens and look at them at the same time. Be like, okay, I'm gonna use this angle. Okay, I'm gonna use this angle. I'm gonna use that angle, and then at the same time, I'm on the line. Cut here, cut here, cut here, cut here, cut here. Once I do all the cutting, now I gotta line everything up. It is.
That's tough because I do video editing as well, but I finally gave up on it, and I've done it for a few years. But it's so hard unless your equipment's good and you really have a good feel for it. It's almost an art to do.
It is. For sure. It is. And what folks fail to realize, it's not like something that I've been doing for the past like couple of months. No, I actually started doing this in 2014. 2014 when I jumped into editing videos, like all the graphics and stuff you've seen. I jumped into that in 2014. My mentor bought the whole Adobe suite for a year, and this is the way he teaches. It's so funny to me because I teach in school and I kind of use this same method. Our mentor will be like, "Here you go," and walk away. We be like,
There it is.
"What?" And so we have to literally sit there and figure it out. But what I've learned in doing that is you learn the way to do it, and then you also learn a way to make it work for your workflow.
That's right.
And that has taught me a whole lot. That's why when we go into shows, when we go into production meeting, like little small tidbits, like I appreciate the fellas listening to some of the tidbits that we gave because it makes sense, small sense, like where you're standing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a whole lot. Like what I was talking about as far as tag team wrestling, that one movement fixed, man, like 4 camera angles because it kills camera angles if you're standing in one wrong spot. And with this group that we have, it's just gonna take repetition. That's why I said for what we're doing, for what we got 4-6 months down the line, what we started.
Yeah.
Well, we went on TV in October, but
That's
we
right.
started in June.
Exactly. That's correct.
And so for the time, we're not even a full year in. And
no.
I mean, people are ready to burn us at the doggone cross.
It has been an adventure. These last few weeks have been, and me and Alan talked. It's been exciting, dude. We talked about before you came on. We're talking about competition and what. Like I think the competition in Memphis is a good thing for us because it makes us work harder. It makes us work more together as a unit in this whole thing with what you're doing, we're doing in front of the cameras, and you guys behind the cameras working so hard. And not just you, but you have Vicky back there, the timekeeper, people who are everybody who's working to make this show go is being challenged to say we've got to put out the best product possible.
Yep.
And you know what I take hats off to? I take hats off to working down at the FedEx Forum. Their workflows, I use some of their processes. Like when the WWE comes in, folks fail to realize, man, what you see on TV is only part of it.
Oh yeah.
I've been on both sides that what you see on TV, they build from scratch. I've been on Crew 1 where we've had to build the entire stage. You got to remember, Raw has changed their stages several times. When I was working with Crew 1 at the same time, this is when they had the higher stage. When you had to build that stage, when you had to, the way they used to come in, you used to have to build that stage and roll that stage across the arena before you put down the ring. See, this was small stuff people don't know nothing about. When they're building those LED walls, all this stuff goes up in time sections. We could even push the doggone entrance way back until they got all the LED boards because every time they hooked the piece up, it was going up. Hook the piece up, it was going up. So when you see a finished product, you're thinking, oh, wow, man, when I say they roll in with 18 to 20 trucks for Raw and SmackDown, 18 to 20, 53 footers, the 18 wheelers, 53, 18 to 20 of them. When I was working down there, if WWE had an event on Monday, man, them trucks was rolling in on Friday.
Mercy.
So some of the stuff that they were doing down there, man, we learned a whole lot. Like putting together rings, working on rings. I'm not gonna indulge the secrets, but I seen why WWE rings look and sound how they sound. I said, y'all some slick jokers. Y'all think y'all slick.
Hey, well, and it's true. And people don't really understand what goes into all this. And you talk about on the stage that we're on, it's a much smaller production status.
Man, it's much smaller, but it's still yet similar. Because when I say that, when we go in there, by the time we get in there, like if I was working strictly with the arena, which would be the FedEx Forum, we usually don't come in there to what is called chair set. Chair set means we're setting all the chairs around for the event. That means by the time we get in there, pretty much the arena from built up, what you see on Raw without chairs, is set.
Yeah.
Now, they started like 6 a.m. Man, they be having production meetings. When they tell people, when they're in those production meetings, you see WWE security throughout the whole building. It'd be certain parts, they'd be like, you can't even come this way. And I'm like, we gotta go this way because this is the nope. They would not let when I say they keep stuff closed, finger lit tight, I'm talking about, man. If you're able to get anything from their shows, you're a good one. But yeah, I mean when when I say that they run it like a well-oiled machine, and when I looked and seen how they do things, I was like, okay, how can I incorporate that into Blood City Wrestling for us to roll like they're rolling? And some of the stuff that they do, the same stuff that they do, I try to incorporate it with us. That way we can flow along just like everybody else, and it won't be nothing that you're missing. So everybody that works with Blood City Wrestling doing this, what the people see on the TV with the finished product, man, it's a whole well-oiled machine. And man, I have fun every week putting it together. I brought in one of my students, and he was so excited. He was like, man, it is it's a different world, but I like it.
Well, that's good. Was he one of the camera guys you had?
He was one of the camera guys I had,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
He was one of the camera guys, and it was just
he was smiling the whole day.
Yeah, he was like a little kid. He was like a little kid in the candy store because he does it before. He was one of my music kids, and what made me bring him in was we had a performance Friday, and so we get ready for performance. He's walking around with a camera, and I was like, man, I am about to take your camera and throw it in the garbage can. Get ready for the performance. And then it clicked in my head. Wait a minute. You're walking around with a camera. See me after this game.
There you go.
It clicked in my head. You make sure you see me after this game. And after the game, I gave him the address. I said, be there at 9 a.m. And he was there.
There you go.
And he was around that ring, and he had that camera rolling. So Marvin, this studio, I got to ask you because I'm curious. Because we brag about the new studio and it's nice in there, how we're shooting. Is it easier for you as a production artist like this to use this studio than it was how we filmed before that, as far as putting things together in the editing process afterwards?
The editing process is pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
The difference I like within the studio setting is that we can control the environment.
Yeah.
Versus in some of the other places, we cannot control the environment, like lighting. Lighting is a key thing in television, and we're able to control the lighting aspect of it. Like if you actually watch it on television, like if you go back and watch the first show, and then when you watch the second show this weekend, you're gonna be like, man, it feels different in there.
Yeah.
Versus when we go on location and we can't control the environment. We could, but in control the environment mean it constitutes more money.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about a different, more production design for sure.
Man, because, I mean, we're talking about the main thing I would be focused on if we're on location is lighting. Because we'll be in several situations where we cannot control the lighting and it affects the cameras. No matter which camera you use, the type of camera you use, it still affects the lighting. And when it affects the lighting, then now you have an issue where folks want to say your product is not as crisp as it should be. And I'm like, that's because you don't understand the production aspect of it. You just, what you see on TV, it is what you get. Like, if you watch NFL football, y'all don't understand the cameras that they're using. They got what is called a bokeh effect, where the subject in the front is clear and everything around it is blurred. That's a camera preset by design.
Yeah.
Because they want to focus more on the subject than everything that's around it. And man, those cameras cost.
Yeah.
I was telling a friend of mine, he asked me, he said, man, the guy, he went to WWE Raw in Birmingham. And he sent me text me a picture. He said, man, look at this, man. He up here watching the national championship. He really ain't doing nothing. I said, he don't have to do nothing because his camera angle, he barely has movements. He has on headphones that the producer are talking to him. If they need a specific shot, hey, they'll say camera so-and-so, so I need you to zoom in this, that, or the other. They're using broadcast cameras like what they use for sports. So I told him that camera in itself is $100,000 for one. And imagine WWE has like 6 of them in the stands. We're not even talking about the ones that carry.
That's right. Because people do ask that. They're like, well, why is the quality of your camera? I'm like, dude, you got to realize what you're using and what your production budget is, first of all. Because the power of your camera, the glass that you're using, everything all goes into capturing those images and those frame rates. And it's tough. It's expensive.
Everything. And when I say everything, and a lot of people, all they see is the end product and want to shoot and crap on it. But it's like, you have to understand that first off, we're still local.
That's right.
Let's bare bones about it. We're still local. So quit trying to compare us to a AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE. You're not going to see no production like that on the local level, because if you do, we should be nationally syndicated. Like Booker T's promotion, Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah.
I watch that all the time just to see nitpicks and pointers on, okay, what they doing there. We're not. Booker T's setup is similar to how WWE set up in the early 2000s. They're still using projection screens. They're not even using LED. See, everybody's moving to LED to be more cost efficient. But Booker T using what works. He still use projection. He got two dual. I mean, his setup works.
That's right.
What works? Why change it?
And I think that's one thing that I love about the studio is because once people see how the lighting gets controlled and just the environment in general, like it's amazing. Like it's so like just insane to me, from starting out where Blood City did, right, the first couple tapings, to now being inside that studio and seeing the lights in the background and the fans and just the production side of the way that it looks on camera. Like it's night and day from where it was. And like you said, that's just in a couple months. So, I tell people all the time, like, stick with us, stick with Bluff City, because we're continuing to elevate and to go up, and that's what's going to happen. And this studio is just another notch in the belt to keep going up. So, man,
and you're not going to beat our action. Our action, because this might be the most action heavy episode I think coming up.
Well, these
so much.
These two episodes, be honest with you, the first show had a lot of action. I told y'all in production meeting what I actually had to do, and it was like, we rather run long and cut it, which I'm fine with. But what really put these past two shows over was the crowd. I got to shout out the crowd that we had in there. The crowd that we had in there, they were engaged. The crowd that we had in there, man, was A1. Me and a friend of mine always talk about, what do you consider a sellout? And he was like, a sellout is pretty much all your seats are sold to capacity. Because we have this argument all the time. Everybody want to say, well, I sold something out. Well, did you sell 500 seats? No, I didn't sell 500 seats because my venue wasn't set for 500 seats. We were only set for 75 to 80 people, and we're still pulling chairs out the back. Hey, I consider that a sellout.
And it is, because you expect a certain amount of people. Like, we know we're going to have so-and-so amount. And then when you exceed that and you're trying to find places for people to sit, you sold the place out. You exceed your capacity, and that means people are interested in your product and they're coming out to see it.
Yep.
And that audience was engaged.
Man, I'm talking about engaged. It was like, I mean, it just felt like that Saturday morning where, what I'm saying, I don't want to lose any of them. Like, I'm using smaller production tidbits. Like, if I got enough cameramen, if you notice, we were rolling with different type of setup, musics, and everything this week. Something I couldn't do the other time because we were short on people. But that's neither here nor there. But now we got it to where, man, we get this nucleus that's going. The crowd would get that experience. It's like I say, we may say we're filming two shows, but if you go to an indie show every Saturday at 7 and you ain't leaving till like 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. And we all have that argument with people about what we are and aren't doing. And I've learned to kind of put the tunnel vision on, because if you sit there and listen to it, you will get upset, because it's like you're just making up stuff.
Yeah.
You are telling fibs that are not even there, and sometimes I have to shake my head. I have to kind of, like I said, I put on tunnel vision, because when I'm working on these episodes, I got a vision. I try to bring the vision that Johnny wants to life on TV. So in order for me to do that, I have to kind of put the blinders on, because listening to everybody else, like, I won't be able to put the best product I know to put out there.
Well, and that's exactly right. And I think we have to do that as probably a company too, because it's easy to get involved in the back and forth, especially when you're being criticized. But I think that's what we really do is when you're not there. I think that it's easy to get involved in that because you're trying to fill time. But the day of the shows, everybody's just engaged in the show, like we're about to have some fun and make this. Yep. This is about to be a blast. We're going to have a good time, and that's what. And if we have that energy all the time, I really think this. I tell people this, and Marvin, tell me how you feel. Me and Alan have talked about it, but I love being on the ground floor, creating something new. The excitement that brings doing this.
See, and that's the thing that I always teach my kids. I'm like, I don't never want to be the person on top right now. I like to be that underdog, because the victory tastes better. The victory is more sweeter when you start from the ground up and you know what you're working to, versus coming into something that's already well, or now your expectations is to maintain that. No, I want to get it to where we start from the bottom. So when you get to the top, I mean, it tastes so sweet.
It does. And boy, it tastes real good right now. I cannot wait for people to see Saturday's episode. I'm so excited about Saturday's episode.
Man, look, I'm sitting up here now. As soon as I get out with you fellas, I'm gonna jump in and start on that closed caption. And man, look, I am going to try to make sure that once we get through, like I got some surprises. Make sure y'all paying attention to the commercials.
Can't wait.
Here we go.
Make sure y'all paying attention to these commercials, because I am using a WWE model of how they promote shows. So pay attention to the commercials. Yes. You're going to start seeing the little tidbits that I'm going to start doing me personally. Like when we have, like we got what an event coming up in Somerville.
Yes, we do.
We got an event coming. We got an event coming up in Somerville, January 28th. You start seeing little tidbits of that, and that's going to expand into the week of. And the crazy part about it is, I wanted to go ahead and throw the whole kit and caboodle, but I had to remember how we recorded the shows. So I got to gradually bring everybody up on the ride. So yeah, we man, look, we're going to have some fun with this. And like I said, I'm here for the ride, man. The locker room that we got, the camaraderie we got, the crew that we got, man. Now I'll put them up against anybody, and that's just because we are running. We run our own race. We got our, as they say, the fearless leader. You know what I'm saying? Johnny gonna be Johnny. Everybody ought to know that by now. Johnny's going to be Johnny. And folks have to realize, that has been Johnny since I've known him.
Oh, exactly.
That's been Johnny since I've known him. So you got to make sure that, as I say, you get caught up with Johnny, that's your fault. Because that's true. If you get caught up with Johnny, that's your fault.
Yep. And I don't think people realize that Johnny is going to. You can say what you want to about loving or hating, like him or not, or whatever your personal feelings may be towards it. And I think a lot of those are influenced by outside talk. But Johnny's going to give you every opportunity and every shot for you, and give you a platform and a stage to do and make yourself a star.
And that's what I like about how Bluff City has become. He's gave everybody the platform and the chance. And it's like everybody wanted, as I say, in the city of Memphis, we all know it's several hundred wrestling type companies. If we want to go to Mid-South, if you want to go to Mid-South area, man, we're in the plus. We're almost to about 15 to 20 wrestling companies between Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
It's a lot.
And that is a lot. That ain't even, if you think about the territories weren't even set up with 15 or 20 companies within a territory. So it's like, it's more so on, as Johnny would say, somebody's got a company and wants to throw a show to be relevant. That's how I look at it. They're throwing shows to be relevant because at the end of the day, if you ain't operating this as a business to be the number one business that's going, what you in it for?
Well, that's the thing. Like, people get offended when we talk about, hey, we're the best out there. We're the greatest. Like, we talk about we're the greatest tag team, or they talk about royalty is the greatest, this or that. I mean, it's because if you don't have that mindset and believe it, what are you doing?
You're right. You're right. What are you doing? Like, I tell a lot of people, and I try not to toot my own horn, but I have people text me and ask me, "Did you do those graphics?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did them." They're like, "Because I know your work." So and I try to tell people, I said, "Man, look, I predicate what I do on making sure if I don't like it, what you think somebody else gonna like it? Somebody else may like it and I don't, but I got a certain way that I do things that make sense." And I told him, I said, everything I could do, man, you can stick on anybody's network and it goes.
Yep.
You can stick on anybody's network and it goes. And they like, well, how do you? And I was like, man, the knowledge was given to me, and I don't have a problem giving the knowledge to other people, but you have to respect the grind. And that's what I had an issue with certain people telling me I need to do this, that, or the other, like I didn't know. Like, I had a smaller issue with somebody telling me, man, why you using iPhones? When we first started off, I said, first off, iPhones are recording 4K now.
Yes,
you have people who've done movies with iPhone.
Yeah.
And you would not know unless you knew the backside production of it.
And that tells you right there that they don't know what they're talking about, right? When they make those statements, why would you use an iPhone? Because iPhones are really good with their cameras. And like you said, films, there's a lot of short films, and there's been a couple feature-length films shot all entirely on an iPhone.
And that's what they don't understand. Apple predicated their devices for video production at the end of the day, because they knew in the cell phone market that we need a device that stands out from everybody else. That's why people use a lot of Apple products for that simple purpose.
Yep.
For that simple purpose. So I'm like, why not dip and tap into it? Because you would never know when looking at our show what type of cameras I'm using anyway, unless you just catch it off in passing.
Yep.
And that's the crazy part.
Here's one thing that I do love, and every now and you do this, and I love the way it looks. I don't know if this is intentional or how you came up, but there's a moment when some of the shots are switching from the hard cam to some of these cool, the handheld shots, and it becomes cinematic almost. You know what I'm talking about? How it has almost that cinematic feel and look to it. When that transition hits and it gets in there to that cam, I'm like, oh God.
You know what? It is actually not by design. You know what? I was working with another.
Don't tell all the secrets.
This is not a secret. This was actually something this was funny to me. I ain't gonna say what said company we were doing this for.
Yeah.
But we were sitting up here having an argument because, it was a couple of us. We were sitting in a production meeting. We knew how to do things. All of us been watching wrestling. If you watch wrestling does not use what we call fade transitions.
That's right.
Wrestling use cut sequences.
Hard cuts.
Hard cuts, okay? Man, we were watching a production for one show, and the guy was using fade transitions. He used fade transitions and he used stop cuts, which means it's like you freeze frame and then you start back moving. I was like, when we first seen it, me and a friend of mine looked at each other like, man, who was jump cuts in wrestling. What are you doing?
You can't do that.
I promise you, the guy was coming out to the ring, and he usually come out to the ring to a high five. That man came out to the ring, paused it in the high five, put his name down. Then he started back moving with the high five. I was like, what is this?
Oh Lord.
Man, look, I and my thing was, I said, man, you got a person that don't understand. Well, once again, once you learn these programs, you learn what works for you.
Yeah. Oh,
which is fine. Which is fine. But you have to understand the situation that you're in. The way he was editing is like you edit for music videos.
That's right.
You can't do that in wrestling.
No, it's continuous action.
And you cannot do this in wrestling that they had to learn. Also, another thing that I've learned is that with certain shots, when you do what is called a render, which is putting everything together to put it into one file, when you're doing a render, it makes zero amount of sense to render at 1080 with 24 to 30 megabits per second, because what you fail to realize is that you may think your file is only 4 gig, but all those megabits per second on the back end makes that 4 gig file a 25 gig file.
Yep.
See, that's the background stuff you do not see. So
Exactly.
it's like, first off, you have to understand what network you was on. At that time, that network was not even 720. They were 480i.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh
They were
Lord.
480i. They weren't even 720. So I told him, I said, man, quit rendering that in 1080, render it in 720, because that network is showing 480i. It's going to show standard definition on there, even if we're rendering at 720. We're rendering at HD. Like if you were to watch it on YouTube, it looks awesome on YouTube, but you go on the network and watch it, it looks terrible. I said, it's because it's from the station. That's why when we do stuff with CW30, I talk with CW30 every day. What folks fail to realize, I talk to them every day. I have specific instructions. I have specific settings that I have to use when I render our files and send it to them.
Hey, let me ask you real quick, Marvin. How has CW30 been to work with in this venture with Bluff City?
You know what? It is almost it's a give and take type thing. It's more so on production workflow than anything, because like I said, they have a specific type of format that you have to send them. Yeah. And within that specific type of format, I had to upgrade a lot of my external hard drive space because of that. I mean, when I say our files, send it over to them in the format, it's like 50 gig an episode. Yes, 50 gig a episode. Mind you, now we've already sent 14. Yeah, so imagine imagine what that is doing to my drives over here.
Oh, they smoking. They are working overtime.
Right now, I am going to have to invest in a 16 terabyte drive.
Because I believe it.
Because I'm the type of person, I don't like to get rid of material. I will archive it before I just erase it.
Yeah, I've got 4 terabytes of video stuff over here sitting around my desk right now. That's just
right now in my hand, holding up. Hopefully they don't cut off. These are 2 drives right here. This is a total of 7 terabytes right here.
Good God.
That's that, and the other one I just recently bought because we were moving into 2023. Mind you, now I had the other one since summer 2022. That's when we first started filming episodes.
Dude, that's a lot.
So that means with the top one, which was 3 gig, what folks fail to realize, they're selling you 3 gig. They're actually not selling you 3 gig. You got to take off 50 of those for system files. So I got a 2.5 gig drive that ran out in December from filming in July.
Yeah.
From July to December. Memory gone. Man. So I had to get another one. I had to get a bigger one because we're going into 2023 and everything on the other drive. Because see, my thing is, if I want to go back and get something that I want to use, I don't like using what we finished the episode with. I'll do it sometime, but I like the raw file because I may want to change something around that I cannot change within the episode.
Yeah. No, exactly right. And I noticed that with the highlighted episodes, when you went back, we did the end of year review. Stuff, especially because we went from the closed caption you talked about earlier and how you really had to get hands on. That's what other people don't realize also about the closed caption, because it takes you a long time to actually have to go there and listen to everything. And there's a program that will try to read it for you, but that's not entirely accurate when people aren't enunciating and saying their words right. So you have a lot of work to go in there and redo that. And I really noticed it when I went back and watched the highlights. I'm like, yep, he fixed all that closed captioning.
Man, when I say that my biggest issue with that is that when we try to go in and the program that you're saying, it's actually built into my editing program.
Yeah.
So when I hit transcribe the episode, sometimes it takes an hour and a half to transcribe that 60-minute episode. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when I see that, when I see that, it's like, oh wow, I need to I need to go in and do something about that. So when I see it, it's like, man, these are a lot of words that I got to fix. And some of that stuff, especially when Austin Rapchild wrestles, oh my goodness. I'm not I am not knocking his name, but I promise you, they
say it.
Man, trying to interpret that, man, it gives it everything but a child of God. I'd be like,
look,
wow.
I enjoy it. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate on it either. I actually enjoy it because I'm like, I want to see what closed captioning comes up with and what they've been able to catch out here, because that could be, dude, it's hilarious sometimes.
See, y'all don't see the raw. Y'all see only some of the end product and some of that stuff that don't change. I have seen some stuff that I'd be like, I just know they didn't say that.
Oh, I know it.
Actually go back and listen. They actually said that. And I'd be like, oh no.
It translated Bob something that, Bob's a pastor. So this thing that it translated on there in one of the earlier episodes, I was like, well, I know he didn't say that.
You know what? I'm not knocking Bob. I'm not gonna either confirm nor deny on that. And he was not. I'm gonna say this here. He was not trying to say that.
Yep. It sure came out that way, buddy.
But I will either confirm, but I won't deny it. So I will not say. I will, as we say, plead the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that's it. So let me ask you this, because Jay just had he said since the topic is on technical aspect, the audio was spotty on Saturday's show. We know that because Josh had the issue with his mic, right? So
man, look,
you remember that?
I can tell you what happened with that. What happened with that was I was not. See, this is a lot of stuff people don't understand technical wise. When we had it set up at first, we had 3 commentators.
Yes.
We had 3 commentators. That means we were using 3 hard mics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's because of the setup that we had. But now we turned around and went only to 2 with only to 2 with wireless mics. The initial wireless mics we had weren't UHF, they were VHF. So that means they were catching a lot of interference. So I had to get them out of here. So when I got the new sets, I only got 2 because we only had 2 announcers.
True enough.
So when we came to our very first show,
that's right.
And Johnny said, hey, I'm sitting at the booth, I was like, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
So now I got to scramble. Okay, how can I get some more mics in right quick? Oh, use the same mics we used at Somerville, because what folks failed to realize, they were wireless in Somerville. They didn't have the regular mics.
No, that's true. And so that was really going to be my question off that. It was that when stuff like this happens, and we're at point of show and we're filming the show, there's no going back, and because everybody's setting and getting ready to go, and you're like, oh man, this has to happen now. Does it? How do you keep yourself sane when you know that the show has to go on?
You don't understand the fact that when I figured it out Saturday, Friday night when he told me he was gonna be at the table with them, I was like, oh my goodness. When I found out at a late hour.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to accurately charge those packs up enough.
Oh, gotcha.
So when I got there at 8 a.m., I had them on the charge. I had them on the charge all the way to showtime. But with those packs, I usually like to charge them 24 hours just because to be on the safe side. And then on top of that, I told Bob and Josh, y'all got to make sure when they're on connected to you, make sure they're connected to your clothing and you got to limit your movement. It was at one point in time, Josh had moved it to where it dropped all the way off. So I was wondering where did his
that's right.
Yes. I was like, where did his audio go? And his audio was gone because Johnny had the mic.
That's right.
Bob had a mic. And so what I normally do is in situations like that, I am running what is called standard audio backup audio. So that means whatever I miss off the standard, I can use on the backup. So, but if the backup then fell off and sitting on the floor,
ain't gonna help.
I mean, there's nothing I can do
right.
about that. So that's one of those situations where if you notice, man, there was more microphones galore last week. Yeah, I made sure. I said, since you said you were gonna be at the desk, I went on ahead, got some more mics in. That's what folk fail to realize. You have to adapt to your situation. We seen the mistakes that we made the first show because there were mistakes. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Ain't nobody got no A1 TV show right here, not on the local level. Yeah. So the mistakes that we made and the mistakes that we had, I went on ahead and I was like, okay, I know how to fix that. So I did a couple of research. And I always tell people, if you're doing anything in broadcast, podcasting, anything, test. Yep. Man, I probably spent a week, 2 weeks on testing just because I wanted to make sure, okay, if it works in this environment, it works in that environment. So I did the test all week on all my cameras, hooking up the way we're going to run new audio, all that. And I was like, okay, it's working here at the house. Let me see how it's going to sound when I get to the studio. Got to the studio, got the levels that I wanted. I said, okay, then we're going to be good. I said I had some microphones to check to make sure I was getting some levels. Then when I came back in post-production, I was like, man, I hit it right on the nose. But it came from me testing.
Yeah.
And then another thing I have to tell everybody before you make that comment, some people got to remember, don't get happy. Because, boy, when they get a microphone in their hand, they get happy. You gotta calm down because I understand you're in the moment, you're in the situation, but you don't have it to where I don't like to use what is called automatic monitoring because what happens is if he gets happy, then it tries to bring it down. So now your audio is doing this here. Yeah. I don't like. I use everything manual. So that means if it come in hot, it's just coming in hot. If it's coming in A-OK, it's coming in A-OK. And man, look, when you see this show this Saturday, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, they've been doing some work back behind the scenes.
Well, I'm excited about it. And Marvin, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I know we're having to get out here because I think Alan's phone's dying on the other end over there. But no, I mean, really, thank you for coming on, first of all, and sharing that because I think it's so important, especially what's happening at Bluff City and all the things that you guys do. I know I appreciate it. I know the boys appreciate it, and everybody back there does. I mean, because you do a lot. And I don't know if sometimes you feel totally appreciated. I mean, because I know it's a lot of work that you put in, but just know that we do appreciate everything that you do. Because I've come from a video background. I understand what goes on into it at a certain level. But what you do, when I watch you set your stuff up, I'm like, I got to go back here. I'm getting a headache watching this because this man's a master. He's out here doing his thing. And I'm just going to go away because if I sit here and look at this anymore, I'm going to go nuts.
Man,
just trying to figure it out.
Look, y'all just don't understand how I have to make sure me and my wife, me and Princess, she been trying to figure out. She was like, we got to simplify your setup. I said, I would love for my setup to be simplified. I really do because it makes for less for us to bring around. But part of the problem is when you have smaller stuff, it's got little tidbits that you don't have on bigger systems. So So unfortunately, the way we run all of our audio, I have to have that bigger board because our commentators have audio, our cameras have audio.
You got some channels you're working with right there.
Man, I'm talking about and back in the back, I know I'm working with at least 5 or 6 channels. Like if you notice doing matches, and this is not at everybody's show, but at our show, you don't hear the commentators. You may hear them because you're in the same room with them, but technically you don't hear them on the microphone. And that's by design, because we talked about that, and that's like a pet peeve of me and a friend of mine. How are you gonna have a commentator hollering, "Hey, he's got a chain," and the referee don't hear that?
Right.
Well, exactly. Because then the referee should be like, "Wait, where's this chain that he's talking about?
Where is this chain?" Or, "Oh, you got a chain. That means I need to disqualify you." I mean,
yeah, and you never really should have audio blaring out through the thing anyway. It's not what it was ever designed to do, because they didn't do it. They didn't do it in the Coliseum days, and it was only for TV was the commentary, and I love it. It took me a second to get used to, because I'm so used to doing the house shows where everybody does commentary now over the top, over the system. But dude, I love what you're doing. I love being a part of it. It is so much fun. And look, let me say one other thing about your wife too. I love her. That woman's a saint right there. A little bit. She tickles me so much. I look forward to seeing you guys when we come out there. And we're back to 21st, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, we're back on the 21st. Doors are open at 11. Bell time is at 12. And in the future, I can only give in the future, you're gonna want to start getting there at 11.
Yes.
You're gonna want to start getting there at 11, because we got a couple of things coming down the pipe. You're gonna want to start getting there when the doors open, because we're now. Folks were like, "Well, why y'all start letting folks in at 11 and y'all show is on at 11?" It's because you have some people, well, in the world of TV, where you can DVR it now, or you can catch it on YouTube. You want to be at a live show, which is free. You come on down 596 Sandra Street, Bluff City Wrestling, Summer Avenue Studios. I mean, it's just like it was back in the day. Free wrestling.
And it's fun.
Real fun. Real fun.
So, Marvin, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll have you back on the show, and you're welcome anytime, by the way. Always, the door's always open for you. So,
man,
never worry about that.
I'm going to have to jump on one of them doggone wrestling podcasts, man. Yeah, what's that, Bottom Card Booking?
Yeah,
so jump on there one day.
We'll do that. Look, you're always welcome on Bottom Card Booking, and we've got some other things we kind of talking about, too. Like I said, we got some things coming down the pike in other situations.
Yep.
We're going to work this out, and I think you guys are going to be excited about it, by the way. A lot of stuff. But this couldn't be possible without Marvin. We certainly appreciate you and everything you do.
For sure.
Marvin's become family and a friend, and to me that's important, because you have this. We're all in this stuff together, and Bluff City is just going to continue to get better, guys. On January 21st, you come on out, see some free wrestling, because you are going to want – you're going to come to it, and like the people did this weekend, and say, I can't believe we got to see this for free.
Exactly.
That's how good these shows are.
Exactly. Don't folk gonna be like, man, we got and mind you that SmackDown was just the night before.
Right.
Yes.
SmackDown was just the night before, and for us to come in to have standing room only. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, really, there's enough people in the city where if there were several companies, you know, everybody has their own fan base. And see, that's what's killing me. You know, I mean, you got your ones that go to every wrestling show.
Sure.
I'm not talking about them. I want the casual fan that you normally don't see come out their house, come to a show and be like, "Ooh, I want to come back." Them the ones that I be wanting to target.
We had a guy and his son, Jeff Ryan, his son, came all the way from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
He took in the MIW show on Friday night in Middleton, and then came to our show in Bluff City that morning and spent the whole day there watching the show and drove back.
That's crazy.
That's wild. They put our show over like gangbusters, right? They have their own wrestling corner they have on Facebook that they do. It's fun to read, and they're always putting us over. I don't know why he likes us and stuff. I kind of got an idea why he likes the Savage Brotherhood and stuff. I mean, you know, who doesn't? You should. If you don't, you're missing out. But man, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what you want. And man, I just wish that, you know, we get to the point where I would like, as a company, if we could make this happen. I would like to go up there because I guarantee you that's wrestling. Philadelphia, that's come on, what's that, home ECW?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
We don't want, I mean, we're not stepping in nobody's territory. We just want to come up there and show appreciation for the people that's up there, you know, watching our product. That would be super fun to go up there, man. We might have to talk to the king.
Oh, Lord.
We can do about
Start
that.
spreading some of that money around a little bit more.
I think he's paying enough, isn't he?
Say what? Yes, and just from Pittsburgh. So,
I'm sorry.
No. What's funny is because I talked to him Saturday, right? I don't know why my mind immediately went to Philadelphia. I hate that crap hole. I hate Philadelphia and everything.
I ain't
about
never
that
been there.
city.
I can't stand Philadelphia. I don't like the colors. I don't like the team.
Nothing.
I don't like the city. I don't like nothing.
Philadelphia is trash. I don't mind the Steel City.
Hey, they get Jalen Hurts. Leave him alone.
No, I can't handle it.
No, Devontae Smith, not Jalen Waddle.
That's right.
Jalen Waddle.
Right. Get your players right. Alan, come on, you're supposed to be a football guy too.
Players straightened.
But anyway, they came down and then we were talking about that a little bit. But that was cool that they made that trip and they enjoyed themselves down here. And
they said they'll be back. And they said they'll be back too.
And that to me is really, really cool. And that's what makes it fun and what makes what we do worth it and all the hard work that's put in. Tell Princess hello for me and good night because I know it's late and she hadn't already gone to bed on you.
Man, look, she came in here and gave me some tea and gave me that look. She's like, what, you just on the podcast? Baby, I'm on the podcast with Storm. He said hello and good night.
That's right. That's right. Marvin, we love you, buddy. And we will talk to you soon, amigo.
All righty, man.
Have a good one. Man, I love Marvin.
Yeah,
Marvin's
that was cool,
great.
Man. That was
cool. This has turned into a 2-hour show tonight.
It has.
And we did not anticipate doing.
And right before I clicked on the link to join in, I was about to message you and be like, this doesn't have to be long. Like, 10,
we'll do this real quick.
And no, it's been 2 hours.
Well, I mean, and Jay, and thank you to Jay. I mean, for coming on here and talking with us and chatting with us in the comment section. Because look, like I said, we can agree and we can disagree, but I do love the back and forth and the talking because I think that's the only way we really can. I mean, it helps a lot because you don't always know. You can only talk about so many things yourself, and everybody has an opinion or a thought or a question or a comment or a concern, whatever that is.
Right.
And so, it stokes more conversation about. I can talk wrestling all 24/7, but I can do the same thing with football or just life in general.
Right.
Because it's fun. So. But stay tuned. If you haven't gone and liked our Undefined Radio page, please go do that, as well as our Bottom Card booking page. Show us some love and support as we're trying to get this out. Not only does this come out on Facebook, but also on our YouTube channel, our Undefined Radio YouTube channel. Trying to grow it all. Yeah, Jay, I agree. What a sad place this would be if we all saw eye to eye, and that's very, very true. Yeah. I think that makes it for boring everything.
Exactly.
When everybody is like, "Oh yeah, we're exactly alike." I don't want another me. Anyway,
I don't want another you either.
Exactly.
One of you is enough.
Way too much.
Yes.
Right? Way too much.
Jennifer
we don't need another one. I don't know. Jennifer probably wants about several of me, but I understand from her point of view there. I get that. Yeah. I get that. But for the rest of you, no, nobody wants more. we don't need more. But guys, I appreciate it. Jay, Jeff, thank you so much for partaking tonight and being a part of this. Marvin, of course, Randy. It's been fun. Like I said, I always love talking. And we will be back. Who knows? More breaking news happens this week. We might find time to get on here and talk more if y'all just want to talk. And we may just jump on here one night after Alan's actually had supper instead of letting the supper get cold while he's doing this for 2 hours.
That joker, I might as well put it in the refrigerator before I came in here to do this.
That's right. That's right. Hey, it's going to be good for you, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Alan, thank you so much. Guys, we'll see you soon.